So now, so the previous week we went over when it would be appropriate to delay the tayammum. So it's recommended to delay tayammum when a person expects that he's going to find water before the end of prayer time. And if a person is promised water, then it is necessary and wajib to delay tayammum, even if that person fears that the salat time is going to be missed, because obviously offering prayer in a condition where water is used is better than offering prayer with tayammum, unless there are extenuating circumstances. Also, it's necessary to delay the prayer when a person is promised clothing. It's necessary to delay prayer if a person is promised clothing. He's doesn't have adequate clothing. So if he's promised clothing, then or he's promised a vessel to take out water from a well, then it is necessary to delay the prayer in that condition, even if and this in this particular scenario, even if there is no fear of missing prayer from its time. So provided that there's no fear of missing the prayer from its time, it's necessary to delay the prayer when a person has been promised clothing to cover his awrah, or bucket or water vessel to remove water from the well. Today is talabul ma, requesting water. So if a person ويجب طلب الماء إلى مقدار 400 خطوة إن ظن قربه مع الأمد وإلا فلا. So the author is saying that it's wajib, it's necessary to seek water. It's necessary to find water the distance of at least 400 steps. 400 steps. If a person believes that water is nearby and there is safety in moving 400 steps. Right? If a person feels that there is no safety, let's say a person is in the middle of a forest, and by going deeper into the forest, there's a possibility that I'm going to get lost. I'm not going to find my way back. So in that kind of situation, stay where you are and do tayammum and offer salat in that condition. If not, then there's no need to search. If not, that there's no need. So there has to be that dhann that water is close by and it's safe if I go and try to acquire water. And if that's not applicable, then there's no need to search. It's fine. And to offer tayammum in that kind of condition where a person doesn't feel safe. Moving forward, ويجب طلبه ممن هو معه إن كان في محل لا تشح بالنفوس. So the author is saying that if a person, for example, is traveling with companions, then it's required to ask for water from his travel companions, right, for the purpose of tayammum. And again, provided that they have extra water to spare. If not, then obviously you don't need to ask. But if you feel that they have adequate water, then yes, one should seek water or ask for water, request water from his travel companions. وَإِنْ لَمْ يُعْطَهُ إِلَّا بِثَمَنِ مِثْلِهِ لَزِمَهُ شِرْعُهُ. And if that water is not given unless it's paid for, and the payment is how much water typically costs, right? So it's lazim, it's necessary that he purchases that water because it's being given for a fair value. Obviously, if it's given for an exorbitant amount, no need to ask. إِنْ كَانَ مَعُ فَاضِلًا أَنْ نَفْقَتِهِ. And then that too, he has the ability to pay for it. Right? He has the ability to pay for it. He has extra money left after fulfilling the basic necessities. If he doesn't have that, then again, he's not obligated to purchase that water. We'll stop over here, inshallah, and continue next week. Any questions?
What about if your house doesn't have the water and your neighbor has the water?
Yes. So that kind of situation, if you feel that the neighbor is not going to mind, right?
Your neighbor is non-Muslim, so
even then, it would be, you would ask. It doesn't give any condition that the person whom you're seeking water from has to be Muslim. It could be anyone.
you need to explain a lot.
You don't need to, yeah.
But last time, I believe you mentioned that someone gonna go or seek water
Yeah.
in a mile radius.
Yes.
And right now he's talking about
400
steps.
So the mile radius, as I previously mentioned, that's not that a person walks,
Well, but you think.
but you think.
Okay.
So if a person feels that, even if I walk, a mile radius, then, I'm not going to find water. So it has to be, his dominant speculation. So far as walking, he's only obligated to walk 400 steps.
So,
And that too, if he feels safe. If not, stay where you are and do tayammum in that condition. And 400 steps, that's based on observation. That's based on observation, like empirical evidence that, okay, I'm in the middle of a desert, seems that there's no water, but, okay, I see some birds over there. There could be an oasis, right? Because birds, they tend to circle around water that is available in the desert. So you would walk towards that general direction, and if birds are there, flying over some vegetation or something, then yeah, that would be enough reason to try to search for water in that direction.
I think this may be covered in previous lessons, but
Yes.
let's say there is no water, but there is juice or soda.
It has to be my mutlaq. So it has to be, so it has to be classified as water. So something that loses something that makes the water lose its composition, the fluidity, the taste, the smell, that would not be classified as water, as we covered.
So some juices are like water, white, looks like water,
Yes.
but they're juice,
Yes, but the taste.
Yeah,
The taste is going to be an issue. Like, for example, Sprite. Right? Sprite, when you put it in a glass, it loses fizz over time. It doesn't become water. It doesn't become water because the sweetness is still there. So that would not be considered as my mutlaq. And the fluidity is not exactly there.
Fluidity?
Meaning that, the seilan, water, when you put it on something, it kind of moves. It moves in a very distinct way, fast.
Yeah, but...
So I don't think that would be the case with
that
water that has sugar.
problem with Sprite, because it also moves just...
Yeah, but there is a huge amount of sugar inside. So the taste would be an issue. That's one of the qualities of water. The taste, the smell, and the color. So if any of these are missing, it would not be classified as water. Unless something tahir is put inside. Like, for example, like salt or flour. And that too, it doesn't change the fluidity of the water, the movement of the water. Then would be classified as water, where wudu would be permissible. So in order for wudu to be valid, a person has to use water that is considered mutlaq. Like, it has to be water which the composition of it should be considered and classified as water. This is why right at the beginning he mentions the different types of water which a person can use for wudu. So water from snow, from ice, from rivers, from wells, and then he goes into the composition of water. Because it does come up in rural areas. I mean, a lot of these, and I've said this before, that a lot of these texts, they're based on an agrarian world, because that was how it was. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, it was mainly an agrarian world. Colonialism came and kind of changed things, and Islam had to play catch up. But the rules that applied to the agrarian world, those rules can also be applied to the modern world. And you would get the same ruling. So the rules are there, the fundamentals are there. Right? Just like the Quran. Right? The Quran was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, and that region was agrarian. Right? Medina, this was agricultural. This was all agricultural land. Same thing with the business practices. So, but the underlying